Hey everyone, this is Matthew Kent, and a little bit hard for me to believe, but I've been YouTubing for about 6 months now. Now obviously, in a certain sense, 6 months isn't really a lot of time. I hope to be doing this for a good long while. But in another sense, it was enough time to allow me some reflections, to think back on some lessons that I've learned that I thought I'd share with you. So in this video, very simply, I'm just trying to lay out the top 5 lessons that I've learned from my first 6 months on YouTube. And as a disclaimer, these are my top 5 lessons. They probably aren't the top 5 things that anybody should ever know if they're going to be successful on YouTube, but they are things that have resonated with me powerfully and I think will be useful to you. So number 1, the first big lesson that I've learned in the last 6 months is that there's room for you. And what I mean by that is that as human beings, we have this weird flaw that we tend to talk ourselves out of good ideas. And I think the most common excuse on YouTube that we use to talk ourselves out of a good idea is saying, there's too much stuff out there already, I'm too late, people have already done what I'm trying to do. You know, to a large extent, that's actually true. It's going to be very rare that you're going to be the first one to bring something to the table, the first one to pioneer something truly new on the internet. It seems like everything's been done before, but that's no real reason to prevent you from moving forward and from doing something. So if you're already a YouTuber, this might come in the form of thinking, you know, there's this video that I really want to make, this topic I really want to address, but there's a lot of videos out there on it already. You know what? There might be, but the world hasn't heard your opinion on it yet, and they might like to. If you're not yet on YouTube, you're an aspiring YouTuber, you want to start a channel, and you're thinking to yourself, you know, I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to do, but there's a lot of channels like this out there already, and they're more established than I am, and they're better at what they do, and they've got followers already, and I just can't hope to compete. You know, that's the same boat that I found myself in when I first started. And really, I even had no direction. I kind of started it as a daily vlog. And of course, any topic that I ever addressed, there were people that had done it before and probably did it better than I could have. But just put yourself out there, and there will be people who what you're doing resonates with them, and they'll subscribe, they'll want to see more, they'll comment, they'll be positive in their interactions with you. And so just put yourself out there, and good things can and probably will happen. And you know, the last thing that I'll say on this point to just kind of reinforce the idea that there's always room for more is just think about the way that you interact with content on YouTube. If you're anything like me and there's a topic that you enjoy or a video that you really enjoy, you're pretty likely to watch videos that are related to it because you want to see other perspectives, you want to see other angles, you want to see people tackle the subject differently and share their own unique insights and perspectives on it. So this means that even if the channel's been done before, even if the video's been done before, we could use yours. The second big lesson that I've learned is that the real resonates with people. And here's what I mean by that. Ask yourself this question: how much of the internet is fake, superficial, shallow? Between the Pinterest perfection and the carefully curated worlds of Instagram and Facebook, it can seem like almost all of social media is just kind of one big facade. And so when somebody sees something that they're pretty confident is genuine, it resonates with them on a powerful way, and they'll be more likely to subscribe, more likely to leave a positive comment, and more likely to just have positive engagement with the video in general. And so one of the beneficial applications of this lesson is that your technical quality doesn't necessarily need to be there right from the beginning. For the vast majority of my videos, the quality is very bad, the lighting's poor, the sound is bad, sometimes there's even my kids in the background making noise. And yes, a few people will complain about those things, but for the vast majority of people, they look at it, they just kind of understand, hey, you're doing a low budget production here, and they're going to be okay with it. And it might even get you points in their eyes because they understand that you're just a real down-to-earth person doing your thing, trying to share your message with the world, and you don't necessarily have the resources to make like a big budget thing. And so for me, I've actually gone out, I now have a tripod, I now have a backdrop, I've got some lighting. The sound's kind of a work in progress, but I'm working on it. And but in my earlier videos, I mean, things were just terrible. And like I said, by experience, I know the vast majority of all the comments I've ever received are positive. A few people complain about various technical aspects, and a few people just kind of offer helpful suggestions, hey, take it off of manual focus mode so the camera doesn't keep refocusing. But for the most part, people are willing to look past shoddy production for the sake of great content. And so that's what you should be focusing on, being genuine in delivering your message of great content, and it'll resonate with people in a way that's more powerful than the production value could add to your video. One last thing I'll share in this lesson is that I know for me the most powerful way that I've been able to leverage this lesson of the reel resonating with people is just to talk about topics that I am interested in, that I'm passionate about, and so that when I communicate, I'm actually really interested even in what I have to say, and it sort of comes across. And a bunch of the comments that I've received on my videos have been, wow, you're so genuine, wow, you seem so authentic, so down to earth, different things like this. And I think a lot of it just stems from the fact that I'm just getting up here and talking about what I'm interested in, what I'm passionate about, and I think people can kind of see that when they watch the videos. So lesson number 3 is that videos that people are already searching for are going to tend to do really well. Now, this is in some ways related to the first point that, hey, there's always room for you, even if stuff has been done. But now we're going a step farther and we're saying, hey, actually, if it's been done before, there's a good chance that people are going to watch it, because we already know for sure that people watch that kind of thing. And so one thing that it's good to do from time to time is to just get up there into YouTube's search engine and start typing things in that are related to the videos that you make and see what kind of things start to autofill. Pay attention to the exact language that's used. What are people wanting to know about the topic that you cover? What kind of videos do people want to see? And then you can make some of those videos. For me, there's no doubt that the most successful video that I've ever had was one called A Dude's Bullet Journal Walkthrough. And so I had noticed that a lot of people who were doing a bullet journal made a video where they just walked through their layout and they just showed people, here's my journal, here's what it looks like, here's all the pages, all the different spreads I have, all the different elements that I added to mine, and that's it. I'm just going to show it to you, open it up. And so I made one of those videos, and even though there's a bunch out there, it did really, really well because people are actively searching for it, and so they might find my video through a search, or because my video is related to somebody else's, my video might autoplay after somebody else's or be shown in the side on desktop or in the bottom on mobile in the related videos, and somebody might say, hey, that one looks interesting, I'm going to click on that. And so that leads me to point number 4, because after point number 3, you might be thinking, what, am I just supposed to be the same as everybody else? No, because point number 4 is to find a way to differentiate yourself. So going back to the example that I just mentioned, the video that I made of my bullet journal walkthrough, one of the keys I think to the success of that video wasn't just that I did a video that was called a bullet journal walkthrough or my bullet journal walkthrough. It was called a dude's bullet journal walkthrough. So when I was starting my bullet journal, not thinking about the bullet journal video, but just thinking about setting up my own bullet journal, I went on YouTube and I watched a lot of these walkthrough videos just to get an idea of how I should set mine up. And the thing that I noticed was that most of them were done by women, which of course is fine, but the thing was I noticed that all of them were done in a style that I didn't think was going to resonate with most guys out there. And of course I know that's a generalization, but the thing about generalizations is they are true in general. So I wanted to differentiate myself and to just kind of let people know, hey, this is a little bit of a different perspective. It's more of a minimalist perspective, and it's more of my perspective as a guy as opposed to all of these women out there who are doing it, who I think we're doing fine work, by the way. But this is my perspective as a guy. And so the most concise way that I thought about doing that was to call it a dude's bullet journal walkthrough. And so the title actually worked really, really well. I had people coming to the video and commenting, both guys who said I was intimidated by all the cutesy, artsy, girly bullet journals out there, and I even had girls coming and saying, hey, you know what? I don't resonate with that cutesy, artsy, girly stuff that's out there. I like the minimalistic approach, and so thank you for making this video because it resonated with me. And so I was able to signal to all these people that that's what they were going to get in my video by calling it a dude's bullet journal walkthrough. It got the message across, and it got a lot of people to watch the video, and more importantly, I was able to find the people that I could most help because I very clearly pointed out how I was different than what was out there and what you could expect from the video. The fifth and final lesson that I want to share, and I think it's an important one, is just put yourself out there. And this applies to you if you're a beginning YouTuber, somebody who hasn't gotten started or is just getting started, or somebody who's a seasoned pro. I think what happens is we all go up against what's called the resistance. And I first learned about this concept from a book that I love called The Icarus Deception by Seth Godin. And I think he actually took it from a book by Stephen Pressfield called The War of Art. But there's this thing called the resistance that we all face, and it's this certain fear of doing important work. It's this certain fear of putting ourselves out there and saying, here is my work, I made this. Here's my YouTube video, I made this, enjoy. We worry about, well, people won't like this direction that I've gone in. People won't like the video quality. People will think that there should have been 10 points to this video instead of 5 points to this video. Some people will say, well, the third point and the first point were kind of similar, and they won't be helped, and they'll negative comment, and my self-esteem will be destroyed, and ah! Did you guys enjoy that high-pitched scream? You're welcome. Oh. I'm going to leave that one in there because it actually illustrates the point that I'm making. And so here's the thing, no video is ever going to be perfect. No video is going to satisfy every possible desire that somebody had for a video on that topic. But if it's a useful video, you need to put it out there. If it can help even one person, it's absolutely worth it. And actually, if you want to look at it this way, if you fail to put it out there, you are depriving us of the benefit of seeing your insight, seeing your creativity, seeing your creation, your video, your work of art. So if you're watching this video and I can leave you with just one message that you remember, forget the 5 points, just take away this point. You have a valuable contribution that many people will appreciate, many people will enjoy, and it's absolutely worth it to put yourself out there and share it with us. You say, here this is, I made this, enjoy. So I think that's a good place to end this video. Here this video is, I made it, enjoy it. If you like it, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.